Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 201.
Avatar, The Way of Water, and more.
This week on Cup of Rad. Hey everyone, we are back. That's right. We are like 3 weeks later than expected.
See, we told you we don't promise things.
Yeah.
We did give fair warning.
But we did promise that we're going to do Avatar, and then we disappeared.
But we are doing Avatar,
yeah,
so we
that's true. That's true.
It's cool. It's cool. We're cool.
All good.
We're
all
cool.
good. Yeah, right. Just something. Yeah. So this week we are filled with stuff.
With stuff.
We've been trying to get caught up on a few things. So we ended up actually getting caught up on Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. We finally sat down to watch the last few episodes of the 13th Doctor.
We went back in time and watched Christmas 2021 episodes. We got to see advertisements from then. It was a fun little trip in time.
Yeah. So I really liked the 13th Doctor in the first season, and the second season wasn't too bad. But then the third season, I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, we tried. We tried multiple times.
And that was a period of time where we just kept falling asleep whenever we watch episodes.
Yeah.
So we finally watched the last few of the Flux portion, because with the 60th season, 60th anniversary season coming along, we wanted to get caught up on that before, and like spoilers were just flying left, right, and center.
Well, and then it made me more intrigued because of the spoilers.
Yeah.
You know, to see what was actually happening with it.
So the Flux stuff picked up, but the episodes I enjoyed the most was the Weeping Angel episode out of that whole like 6 episode arc.
Well, because it was so focused on them as a villain, it didn't pop back and forth between a whole bunch of other stories too much. So it was enjoyable in itself, and I was just feeling a little too chaotic with that whole arc, because it was like, here's 30 seconds of this story, here's 30 seconds of this story, and it's like my brain can't even comprehend what's actually happening. And it was overwhelming. So that one was really great that it focused a bit more.
And it felt a bit more like the Doctor, even the earlier of 13th episodes. Once the Flux was over, though, the 3 episodes that came after the Flux were amazing and made me feel like I was watching Doctor Who again in a big way.
Well, when we had the Flux, it was like, okay, we got to get through this. And then after that was over and we had the next ones, we're like, oh, we were excited to watch it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we're watching Doctor Who tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. The episode with the Daleks in the storage thing was a fantastic time loop episode.
It was a great
I really liked Dan in that episode more than I was expecting to. And in those last couple episodes with Dan, I enjoyed him more than I enjoyed him through the Flux season.
Yes.
Right.
Well, he actually seemed like he had a character. He wasn't just taking up space. Yeah. You know, you actually saw development. He actually had,
more meaningful things to say.
He actually added to the story.
Yeah. So like those last 3 episodes were far superior than the Flux season for me.
Yeah.
So it got me excited again. So what did you think of the final episode?
The grand finale. So we brought Kiddo in to watch it. He had never watched any of the Doctor Who, and we're like, you know what? It's a long enough episode, being 2 hours, that for us to just bring him in and pretend it's like a movie. So that was kind of fun. I really enjoyed it because it was a twist to find out what was happening, but it wasn't so complicated that you couldn't follow it. And it was definitely scary at first. Like I knew that she was going to die and regenerate but at first it was like, well, this was too easy. Yeah. So it was interesting to see that change and that really come full circle with her and how many companions and friends she had actually made in the time period. And so all of a sudden it really brought weight to her time as the Doctor. And I really did enjoy that. So yeah. It was a little bit to get used to the back and forth between time, but it was kind of fun at the same instance because they can do that, right?
Yeah.
So what about you?
No, I really enjoyed it. but having the regeneration at the end, I think, was quite interesting to see that there's something wrong with the regeneration to bring back a past regeneration for the 14th.
Curious to see what the purpose of it's going to be. Was the 10th Doctor not done? Is there something for the Doctor to learn from that regeneration, that form? Or is it because of the melding with the Master is something a little off?
In flux, yeah.
Can it not, is something a little broken and tweaked, right? Like, is it something that is trying to tell her, or is something wrong, right?
Yeah. So what a way to do the 60th, like without, so I'm really curious. Like it made me really excited.
Oh, that was really fun to see all the old Doctors when she was in the potential
crossover
death type situation. Yeah. That was really cool to see. And then I liked how the Master was wearing bits and pieces of clothing from a bunch of different Doctors. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Like, we don't know those Doctors, but it was fun to see the different companions show up. I thought it was a really cool way to bring back a lot of
I just
stuff.
really hope that the old seasons of Doctor Who then are a little easier to get a hold of. Yeah. Right?
Because, that should have been like, oh, well, that seemed interesting. I want to know what their story was.
I wouldn't mind going back further.
I want to see the one that had the bat and was beating the hell out of everything. She seemed like she was a good time.
But I wouldn't mind being able to go back a little further, but it seems like they're a little bit harder. I'd have to do some more research, but I just don't want to get another streaming service.
Right.
Right. So I'm hoping with the new season being part of Disney Plus that maybe they'll find a way to put more Doctor Who stuff on Disney Plus, because that'd be a good way to be like, hey, guess what? We've got all this as well.
Well, yeah, to celebrate for the 60th. Yeah. Right? So. I thought it was fun with the realization of wait, I know this teeth. I know this everything. Like, wait a second. Like, it was that reminder, though, that they are very much aware of all their past generations and forms. Like, it's not that they don't forget anything, right? And it just, sometimes it's easy to think that they do because they seem like they kind of start fresh, but they just start fresh in that form and find the way to express themselves in that form. Yeah. And so it was kind of fun to see that. So it was nice to have a excitement for Doctor Who again, because it had really waned, and it was like, I'm really glad we didn't delete them and just say give up. But it's exciting to have that again. So I ended on a bang.
So I'm really excited where it's going to go forward, especially for the trailer that was seen and all that. So it'll be an exciting 60th anniversary for Doctor Who. So tonight we're actually drinking that chocolate porter that we had bought a long time ago. We hadn't drank it.
Well, yeah, we had the two, and we were like, apparently did not enjoy it because it's not bad, but it was really heavy, right? So we're like, we really need to have that again. So Mike had a brilliant idea of
putting some chocolate whiskey in it,
and it's amazing.
It's way better,
like
100% better.
So it's a coffee stout beer. Yeah. And then now it has
vanilla coffee
stout, and now it has chocolate whiskey in it. Yeah. And apparently we have decided marshmallows are garnishes.
If I had toasted it, it would have been good.
It would have been even more amazing. But this is good.
Yeah. So, on that note, though, we are going to go for a bit of a dry spell on our alcohol consumption, and be more mindful.
Well, yeah, we're going to try at least a month. We'll try on the bandwagon of that one.
Got to clear out our booze first.
We're going to spend the next week and a half totally trashed, or what? And then I want to be more mindful of the alcohol consumption. I'm to be honest, Government of Canada released some new guidelines on alcohol, and kind of freaked me out because they're quite substantially different than the existing prior guidelines. And it's not just that. I think if it's giving me a reason to think about it, then that's good. But sorry, I'm here talking like all deep, and Mike's over here dipping his marshmallow and making strange faces. These are really also old marshmallows.
Oh, no, it was just, I got caught on my brace thing.
Okay.
Metal on my braces.
Thinking of overall health thing, I don't think a single person could really argue, no matter what the official government guidelines say, that alcohol is not good for you. So but trying to be more mindful of it. So, but in the meantime, we can still find fun, creative ways to enjoy this once in a while, and but be more mindful of it. But that's where we're gonna be. So, going back to teas and
maybe we'll be over
caffeinated again, right?
That's what we should be. We should be over caffeinated.
Yeah. So.
No, we shouldn't be that.
And
either.
I was going to say, and then there's the fact that we're not supposed to have that much caffeine. And it's just like, I'm just going to have water and bubbly and maybe kombucha. But, try some of the different non-alcoholic type stuff that's out, making mocktails if we wanted to or something for something fun. But, years ago, we went a very long time having very little alcohol.
It was almost a year.
And... I don't look back at that period as if it was something that I missed at the time, right? So try to rethink things and go from there. But anyways, on the serious subject on that, we're going to go back to drink some chocolate whiskey beer.
So we have stickers. We do have a limited run of stickers that we got from a local place made for us. If you want them, DM us your information. We're not looking to charge for these. We're just getting some promotional things out. So if you'd like a sticker, DM us on Twitter, on Instagram, our email. Let us know. Let us know if you would like to rock one of these stickers somewhere on your person to show your love.
Or if you want to throw them on some cool wall somewhere. I don't know.
There's that too.
I just want to give a shout out to the company that actually printed the stickers for us, the Sonic Bark Vinyl Co. I know Mike had posted on our Instagram, where we had gotten them from, and a shout out for them too. And but they did a great job and amazing service. So I'm really, really super impressed and really happy to support a local small business. And I would love to be able to have people ask for stickers so then we can order more stickers from these amazing people. So
or other things.
Or other fun things.
That would have to sell though.
Like
the t-shirts or the
Rad Ninja definitions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right?
So but yeah,
let us know if you want stickers.
Yeah, because we finally did it. We finally got stickers. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
What's next?
I got too enveloped in eating my marshmallows. Sorry.
Well, we actually tried a animated movie that you've been we're interested in. And we thought we'd have a family movie night. And we watched The Bad Guys. Yeah,
Dreamworks Pictures made The Bad Guys, which is actually a children's graphic novel series, like a young reader kind of thing.
And you had just recently read it with one of your students, which was quite funny because he's like, all of a sudden he's like, oh no, this is this person, this is this person. I'm like, how the hell do you know this? Oh, we just finished reading it. Okay, that makes way more sense now.
Yeah. So it's very stylized. It's a very different stylization than, say, the kids comic. And it is vastly different from the kids comic, which is actually really surprising.
Yeah, you would think
there's a lot of changes actually.
Well, considering it's just the bad guys and the mayor that are animal, and the main characters that are animals. Everyone else is humans.
Yeah, and in the book, it's actually they're all humans.
Oh.
I mean, not humans. Sorry, all animals.
I was gonna say what?
Yeah,
that's really different.
That marshmallow's gotten to me, man.
The sugar just sucked up that and really concentrated that alcohol.
They're all animals. So and this is gonna be like a weird thing. You're gonna be like, why? But the Tiffany Fluffit character.
You were really obsessed with Tiffany Fluffit.
Because she's actually a character in the comics later on. Like she actually ends up going on a mission with them.
Oh wow.
So for the fact that she wasn't a rabbit
was strange. It's like they were like, okay, well, we just gotta stick with the main ones, but it's like, why are all the humans okay with a fox for a mayor?
Right. And see, that's different too, because they changed that character to be different from what she is in the comics, because she's later part of like a whole league of like superheroes that actually she's known as the One and she has superpowers.
Oh, wow.
Like, so they like, it is definitely inspired by, and which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I think at the same time, I think you could legitimately watch this film without knowing anything in the comics and enjoy it.
Well, for myself, I didn't know anything at all about it. And I actually really did enjoy it. It was just the only thing that I thought was weird was why the small group of anamorphic animals were totally accepted in the human world.
Yeah.
Without even batting an eye. That's the only part that I thought was strange.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the concept of, you know, people having to, on a bigger level, the people in our world that do struggle with the concept of being determined what they are from the way they look. And it's really hard to then get out of the cycle because it's like, well, that's what the world expects me to be. So I'm going to just be that and lean into it because why go up against that?
Yeah.
And I know that is a serious issue for a lot of people, generally minorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get pegged as a certain way and it is what it is. And I thought that was a cool concept to deal with, that it really does only take someone to stand up and try to turn the tide and give them an opportunity to see that they can be more or be something different.
Yeah.
And we need more people that are willing to accept that opportunity, or like willing to allow someone to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And support people through it so that they can be whoever they want. So it's really actually a really big, deep concept done in a very easy to digest way for children because it's really simple.
Yeah.
And still really, really fun and enjoyable. And I also really like the fact that the bad guy is the one that looks like he should be totally cool. And it has a certain amount of healthy distrust in the system where it is just kind of telling kids, like, don't just assume because the person is nice and charismatic or rich or looking like they're doing good things doesn't necessarily mean they are. And that's not a bad idea to have a healthy distrust of something and really asking why. Why is this happening, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was impressed. But Kiddo seemed to enjoy it. He seemed to be amused with he actually had some decent laughs in there. So
yeah, I like the animation. I think it was kind of cool. It was cool to see DreamWorks step out of their normal kind of style of animation and have a bit of fun with some of their scenes, because it was a bit more like Spider-Verse in the tone of that. There was more going on within the scenes, right? And like there was extra, like, you know, it was like there was like 2D animation on top of the 3D animation, especially around the eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only thing was, like, the humans looked very much like it felt like a mixture between Peanuts meets how they looked kind of in Captain Underpants. Really round kind of thing, right?
Very round. Kind of egg-like.
Yeah. I think the best scene though in the entire thing is the opening scene, because it's such an homage to Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right. We're in the diner and they're sitting there talking, right?
Yeah.
But like they also like made like the snake. He looks a little bit more like Hunter S. Thomas. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, right? With the Hawaiian shirt and the hat. So it's just interesting to see like all those extra kind of like layers they added to the characters. To go.
I was really happy that it all worked out in the end there with it, especially with Snake. I was really invested. Like, you feel sympathetic towards Wolf for wanting to break out, and at some point you can't, if it is that reality, at some point you can't just stick with the people who have always been that way if you really want to change. But your hope is that everyone would change with you and get out of that lifestyle. So similar to a commentary on a gang lifestyle, right? And where you have, I say this, of course, obviously not being able to actually relate, but I can only imagine that it would be very difficult to leave that lifestyle when you're used to a group of people. You feel like they're family, they're everything, but you're wanting to do something different. And but you also understood Snake for being very angry and frustrated with that.
Yeah.
And for almost like, well, why aren't we going to do this together? Why are you just going off and doing this on your own?
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that I was so happy that he was actually playing the guinea pig, and that he had his little ruse going on. And because like at the very end, I was like, you seem totally cool and like okay with Wolf. So I was like strangely happy and calm from that. So
I shouldn't tell you that later on in the book, Snake becomes completely evil and possessed by a interdimensional demon, and he ends up trying to kill all his friends.
Yeah, but he's possessed by something then.
No, he willingly takes on that though, and goes, says the only way to survive is to join us and be part of this. Like,
well, you can't save everyone. That's how I can reconcile that.
Well, fuck that guy. I thought he was cool, but you know what?
Thanks, dude. Thanks for just
hit
making
the
me realize
road.
that nope, some people just never change. Well, that's a good lesson learned too.
But it was a cute little film. Like it wasn't like spectacular. Like I don't know if I'd really reach out again to watch it.
No,
like it didn't blow me, because the middle did lull a little bit. Like it started out really strong, and then it kind of a bit, and then it got its wind back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I think it was still a cute little film for what it was,
and I think kiddo still found it enjoyable. I think you'd be pushing it to watch it with anyone older.
Yeah.
But younger kids would still find it fun because there's enough humor in it, as long as they can understand. There is a little bit of understanding the plan of what's going on going in there, but there's silly enough things with it, right? So, it was fun.
So, in sad news, I went to go watch the second season of Dino Fury with Kiddo, and he told me, no, I'm done with that. I don't care to watch it. And granted, yes, he watched one episode with me the weekend prior, and we realized how goofy and ridiculous it was, but it was still, curious to see, and I want to see how Zed plays into the whole thing.
Oh, Zed's in this?
Yeah, he's supposed to be one of the villains in the second season.
That is surprising that he was just
because he hasn't gotten there yet, right? But it was kind of a kick to the nuts, right? And this is coming off the heels of seeing that little like teaser moment for the 30th anniversary special that's coming out in April on Netflix, and like them redoing the Lightning series figures for that.
They finally pre-ordered some more Power Ranger toys,
right? Because they're remastering, so they're bringing out pinless versions of the Mighty Morphin. So I was, that little insurgence of Power Rangers kicked back. So I was like, yeah, I gotta sit down and watch Dino Fury. And you were at yoga, and I was like offering it up. I was making pancakes. I was all like,
yeah, this is gonna be a
great time. And he didn't want to, and then I got bitter and old and just like, fine. Then we sat at the table and like we didn't talk while we ate our pancakes. It was a weird experience.
That's sad.
It was depressing, right?
Yeah.
Like I could have been watching
because he just puts his face in his whiskey.
Yeah.
Like,
why is this just a glass of whiskey? Why is this beer? This should just be full of whiskey.
Oh God. We're just gonna sleep down here tonight.
So that was a bit of a kind of a weird feeling, but so I guess I'm gonna have to just kind of cut into Dino Fury myself then. Yeah. After work, maybe just an episode with my coffee.
Hey, you never know what'll happen if he just shows up. But yeah, it's one of those ones where if you don't ask him to join you, so you don't have that feeling of sadness, attached to it. Yeah. But understanding that he likely won't join you, but just let it be and just realize, okay, it is for yourself, and trying to remember that stuff. No, it's hard dealing with him growing up and dealing with that change of things. And well, the other day I picked him up, and he's tall enough and long enough to like when he was a baby, to wrap his legs up, but he can wrap his legs fully around my waist. Yeah. And it was this, he's so light because he was like also spread out, right? Yeah. But I had that moment of like, I haven't held him like that since he was a baby. And it was like the mom in me just lost it and just got all super, but I don't want to make him feel bad, or like, it's also, I don't want him to make it feel like okay that he can just climb on us. But it was emotional feeling for me. I haven't carried him for so long. It's not easy watching your child grow up. My goodness. I can't imagine people who have done this with multiple children.
Right.
It's like, I think that's why they I don't know, that's why they need to have them so close together, and then they just go into the period of dealing with insanity and then just get it all done with, or like,
could be.
Goodness. So on that note.
But yeah, I'm excited for the Power Rangers thing. I'm going to watch it with him. Without him,
well, he is potentially on a trip, so I'm gonna watch it with you.
Yeah, but like watching it because it looks like it's gonna be 100% new footage, and then also I noticed something that's different from a lot of other Power Ranger shows in the things is that like they're dirty. And they got like bloodied lips and stuff. So that's why I'm hoping it might be a little bit more aged up. Well,
I'm hoping with that flashback that it's actually geared more towards people our age versus, trying to still hit that weird in between right now where they're trying to still hit kid.
Like not dark enough to be like R-rated, but just like you're seeing your old Rangers step back into the costume and have to do something. Like I think
I'm actually very excited for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I only like on a peripheral level enjoy the Power Rangers, you know, but I out of everything, I definitely have the most knowledge and investment into the Mighty Morphin because that's what I actually watch more of, right? Yeah. So I'm very excited about this.
Well, I've only watched
I could have cared less, honestly, about the other stuff.
A lot of the other stuff in the last few years when Netflix had a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right, because I'd only seen up to a certain point.
Yeah.
Right. So totally, it'll be quite the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So we checked out this film called Bullet Train. It stars Brad Pitt. It's directed by the guy that did Deadpool 2. It's based off a novel.
That would explain the character in it. The Hornet. Sorry, the casting. I apologize. Chew interjection. I'm here. Based off a novel.
Yeah. It really, like this is a weird one.
Okay.
Like in that 5-second review kind of thing, I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure if I enjoyed it.
You might have to elaborate on that one.
No, you must resonate in that.
Okay, just let the mystery sit there.
But like I had a good time watching it.
You looked bored most of the time.
No. Like there was, it was fun to watch, but it was so ridiculous and over the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I enjoyed. But in the aftermath of it all, it wasn't that over the top that made me have any scenes where I was like, damn, that was cool. I need to watch that again. So that's why I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure if I would go back and watch it again because there was not enough cool action
to really make up for the really lots of drama.
The lull in it, right? Like
it was a very long feeling movie. Like it just, I remember we paused it halfway and I was just like, holy crap.
There's still an hour.
How on earth? This feels like the movie should be done soon. And yet we're only halfway through.
Yeah.
So that was surprising. It, while you're watching it, it moved pretty quickly. And I think I just didn't anticipate the length of the in-depth story layers that were going to be added, the new characters that showed up, because it kind of felt like the characters that were there were going to be the only ones there. Yeah. That being said, I liked the connection of things and how the pieces all fit together. And that was fun. But I do see what you're saying, though. The concept of, we have talking, drama, building story, building all emotion and feeling things. And all of a sudden we'd have this like really quick action scene. And then, it was nothing.
And some comedy.
Really to blow you out of the water. I remember you had commented in it that it felt like they were trying to make a live action anime.
Yes.
Like some of that craziness that was there.
And some of those scenes were like, they'd arrive in a station and like you'd have all the gang members and they'd all be there. I'm like, oh, we're going to get a dope ass like
beat down. Right, yeah.
And then they just get back on the train and drive away. And you're just like, but wait,
all the bad guys.
But the guy with the mohawk and the bat, you need to beat that guy. Like, but what? No, go back. Go back and fight those guys.
Right.
And even like the final sword battle was
relatively quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it was more about the connection pieces and then coming together and the irony of the good luck and the bad luck and like the drama of learning what a ladybug is and like philosophical feelings.
Yeah.
Like it was
laced within like.
Yeah. Like it was like there was a bigger existential feeling to the movie that was really the purpose of it more than anything. So I get the
like it easily could have been cut down to about a 90-minute film. Right? Tighten things up.
Yeah, but at the same... Yeah, I guess so. But it was a lot of the banter back and forth.
In some of the areas. Because, like...
Yeah.
They re-showed some of the stuff more than they should have when it was, like, trying to figure out with the
connections.
The wolf and stuff like that. Or, like,
even the Bolivia job and all that sort of stuff.
Like, you saw the Bolivia job, the same scene, like, 3 times.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times, yeah.
Right? So those kind of moments where like that stuff could have been tightened up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like we already have seen that scene and we know what the Bolivia job is. And we know, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Tangerine and Lemon I did like.
Yeah.
It was actually really depressing. They were horrible individuals, but it was really sad to see when the one dies.
Well, horrible mercenaries, but really close to each other. And like, with Tangerine's the reaction when he finds Lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Was like good acting.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I was thoroughly
impressed. I can see why he's being considered Aaron Taylor Johnson, is it?
I think so.
Being considered as the next Bond.
Yeah, like...
You could see that swagger in him.
Yeah, and I mean, he was... Like, body-wise, too. Like, he was beefy, but slender at the same time. Like, he
looked good in a suit.
He had some weight. Yeah, he did. And then... but yeah, he had that drama down. Like, you really had a good sense of emotion, and it didn't feel fake or forced or anything. And, like, you really felt for him. And because, like, Lemon was... I hate Thomas the Train, but his obsession with it was freaking adorable at the same time. Like, it was a weird little, you know, niche of his.
Yeah.
But I loved how he was just like, no, it is what it is. Like, people are one of these types. And I love that he put the sticker on the girl. Like, it just, all these little things was really fun. So I think their story was really entertaining. The
most interesting, right?
Yeah. And so it just made it that much worse.
Yeah.
With Tangerine, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad we watched it. I wasn't really sure what to expect.
Like I say, I still, in the time that I watched it, I enjoyed it. It was like the after reflection of like, I don't know if I'll go back and watch that.
And you know what? I really like Brad Pitt as he's gotten older with his acting. Like, I like these types of roles. Like, he was actually really enjoyable to watch.
Well, yeah, because he was playing a goofball too, right?
Right? Like, I love this, like, ridiculous, silly, here he is, this killing machine, really. I mean, able to really do a lot of damage to things. He doesn't, that I know he's not an assassin as his character, but obviously skilled in a lot of things. But he just
smash and grab, man. Like,
yeah.
Not even supposed to be here today.
Not even supposed to be here, yeah. I'm covering for Carver. But he's really enjoyable. Like, he just keeps talking, and he's just
and he was, for the most part, very enjoyable. Like, it's like, that's why I have a hard time with trying to understand my emotion between it.
Because as I say, I'm happy I watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I would watch it again, because, you know, if I'm going to watch kind of a weird, quirky, talky one, there's other movies. Like we mentioned earlier, say Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction has those really amazing, dramatic, but talky moments.
And there's no action.
Yeah, though that's what they are. And you want to watch it for that back and forth and that crazy shit drama for it.
And that's one I can watch over and over
again. And so it's like, okay, so if I want to feel like something like that, I'm going to pick Pulp Fiction, let's say. You know, if I want to watch something. Or like The Big Lebowski or something.
Yeah.
Like those, that's the style that it kind of made me feel like. but not the same level of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was like trying to mix too many genres within itself.
Yes.
Right? So.
It also made me want to ride that train, though. Like, badly. Because I'm like, do they really look like this? Like. I want to ride the big fancy bullet train in the prettiness of it all. Like, if that actually looks like that, you would assume that they wouldn't be able to make it.
You do know you can't kill people, right?
And, okay.
Only slightly?
No. The other thing is, though, it also looks much more enjoyable because there is not hordes of people on it. So that could probably be it, because real life bullet train would be full of people.
Yeah.
Not as appealing. So I rescind that because it would not be as cool.
Imagine all those seats full of people.
Never mind, I'm done.
Babies crying.
I'm out.
People sneezing and farting.
I'm out. Okay. And I'm good.
You just need the first class one where there would only be a few seats.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea. I don't understand why more places don't have bullet trains going like 300 kilometers.
Wouldn't that be amazing to have like
go right across
California, like coast to like up and down California coast or something,
or like from across country?
Well, yeah,
that would be the most amazing. Like get from cool, like from LA to New York in an hour.
Vancouver to Toronto in a train.
Yeah.
You know? Like that would be fantastic.
Why not?
But I'm just saying, like San Francisco, LA, can you imagine if those were connected by a train like that?
I think they are.
Like
just not a bullet train.
But not. Yeah. That'd be really cool.
So they need a bullet train, not just the Amtrak.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget like the state. Well, there is the Amtrak train. I've always wanted to ride a train.
I did. I rode the Amtrak.
Oh yeah, you did, huh? Yeah, like
it was a long day.
Why I haven't done that, but
and sweaty.
Yeah. Hooray.
Yeah.
But like I see those passenger trains driving once in a while around town here, and I'm like,
just gonna take a train trip.
Yeah, I would love to go like to Alberta and train. Like I think but then again, like you see those reels that show up once in a while about like plan your next vacation and like go tour Alberta and see all this pretty stuff. But then like I know there's a lot higher chance in the not winter time of having nicer weather out there because you know, a bit more of a desert landscape and everything. But of course the reel is going to pick the most beautiful day, and it's like it's an advertisement one. So the car, again, like the bullet train, the car is empty. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, look at all the things. And like, there's no one around and the sky is blue and everything's perfect. And it's like, yeah, real world wouldn't work that way. You don't get to choose that.
Someone just stay home with my cats.
So I'm out.
So I'm doom scrolling tonight, baby.
And that's where we are with this. Did we just find rabbit holes and just go down them, right?
But yeah, you know, it was interesting enough. If you want kind of an action comedy dramatic, it's zany. It's not serious dramatic. And it's like an anime.
It's watching, like
a live action anime without like
you're just waiting for them to like, you know, power up or something.
Yeah.
Like that type of feel.
Yeah. So. You know, one thing was weird about it is like, how many times is Channing Tatum? Or is it Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum.
It is that?
It is.
I was going to go the opposite.
Just a weird.
I was going to go the other way.
What? Channing Tatum?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
But Channing Tatum.
I really wonder why when he does cameos, he's always looking for sex. And gay sex.
Yes.
Like that was like in the This Is the End or whatever it was with the Rogan and all that. Like, and there was another one too, I think, with the comedy wise. Like he just shows up and he's just like,
I don't know. Is it now something that he's wishes he could say that, or is he an asshole who thinks it's funny to be like that? Which one is it?
Maybe. Who knows?
You know? Or like or is it the asshole director that just says, you know what, you look like you'd be looking for gay sex? You know, like who's stereotyping what right now?
Right? Like, you know.
Or is it the irony of it? I don't know.
You know, it was just always weird. Like, yeah.
He plays the part well.
Right. It's just, I don't know.
Is this sex stuff?
When's the sex gonna start?
Oh, okay, yeah. What do you mean, man?
Like, so weird. I found out apparently he's reading the book from the Lost City movie because Brad Pitt was in that. He was in it. Sandra Bullock's in it. And they're all three of them are in this one. And like, yeah, apparently the novel he's reading is from that author.
That's funny.
So it's like a weird cross-promotional thing that you didn't
like if I'm going to be in this, I'm going to read this book.
Right.
But then it got you talking about that movie. So it worked well.
They didn't get me to go see it though.
No.
But do you want to see that one? I'm not okay if you do.
I know, curious. But then I have it, like if it was streaming for free, I'd probably try it. I always liked Sandra Bullock. I mean, I don't expect much from it, but you know, might as well. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
So guess what? Guess what time it is for? Katie's solo movie time. She had a solo movie and she had a night where she solo movied it. Katie's solo movie time. What movie did you watch on Katie's solo movie time?
What's the best part is I'm like, what? I watched a movie by myself? That's fantastic. It just only happened too. So I really shouldn't have forgotten it by now.
This is also
a
Katie's solo movie time became a
Radnesia. I had a weird sudden hankering to watch Legally Blonde. I don't know where that came from. Very happy it was on streaming. Otherwise, it would have been like...
You had seen something about her in the bunny suit.
Did I see a pop of it?
I think you saw a pop of it when we were at Toy Traders the last weekend.
That might have been it.
I think that's what it was.
So I've always liked this movie. I've watched it many, many times. But I hadn't watched a chick flick, comforting chick flick movie in a long time. I still love this movie. I still love how nice Elle is and what a good person she really is. And so I with Mike at work, and it was dinner time, and I was like, you know what, I want to watch this earlier. So I just brought Kiddo in. I was like, we're going to start this with dinner. You can watch it through dinner and then you can leave. And he was just like, Mom, oh my gosh, there's so many stereotypes. They're just so like what's going on? Like, because I mean, it starts with them just going through the sorority and everything's pink and fluffy, and they're just like, oh my God. And he was just like, what are you doing? Why are you watching this?
Out.
But he ironically stayed for quite a bit longer after eating. And then all of a sudden it was like, so what can I do instead of this? I was like, dude, I never told you had to stay. I know that you weren't caring about this. But yeah, I love that she is still, as I say, a good person. She's not an idiot, and that's what's fun, is she's super smart about it. She just cares about different things. So, you know, her social intelligence is in a different world than the law students.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to learn from both sides of it, right? Yeah. That's why she ends up making friends with the now I can't remember but Selma Blair's character. You know, that one. And she has a lot of good, I guess, ethics with it. You know, really having that, standing by people and really by her word. And so there's a lot of positives about it. And so I've always loved how, I would totally use her as a role model for something, you know, even if it's ridiculous, and because she really wants to do something more with her life than just. And I love how she expresses that. You know, no one's ever expected me to do anything more other than just be like a Victoria's Secrets model. And so why not? I have the ability to do something more. And I thought that was really cool. And the way she wins the case over knowing about a perm is just hilarious. And I think it's a good commentary, though, on some people who are too involved in books and something that we see as serious. If you don't have enough real world knowledge as well, it's not helping. So having a healthy blend of it, because everything that she does that's actually really helpful is because she's paying attention and knowing things are outside of what's in the textbook. And I thought that was, I think that's a really cool commentary, right? That you can't have one or the other. Yeah. She can't just live in the world of fashion and Cosmo and that's it. But you know, you need to have an idea of what's going on, because how can you be a good lawyer if you don't understand how people actually really act or think, or, you know, catch them in something that seems relatively benign. Like if you didn't know about perms, she wouldn't have been able to catch her in that lie. And I just thought I really enjoyed that. Yeah. So, anyways.
So was this on the Radnesia? Because Radnesia is a movie you liked before and you rewatch now. And was it rad or was it a stinking turd?
I still really enjoy it. So I will still keep it on my list to watch again in the future.
So it passed the Radnesia test.
It passed the Radnesia test.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. We gave the scale. We're good. So
I feel like I cut you off, so that's fine.
No, I know. And I feel like it's okay, because I know that my Katie Solo movie time renditions can go a little long, and I understand that. And it's very much a nice wrap it up, Katie. Where it is, bring it back to the Radnesia thing, and that's cool.
I could start playing music for you if you like.
No, you don't play me out. Okay. No.
And that was Katie Solo movie time. Radnesia.
Sorry, I'm gonna add one more thing. I really like her confidence that she has to just, and she's classy about it, and she gets sucked into kind of like a prank idea where she gets invited to this party, and she's told that's where the bunny costume comes from. She told it's a costume party, so she shows up as a bunny, and it's just oh my gosh. Well, she just rocks it. It's just like, yep, this is what it is, but she doesn't actually tell anyone how she ended up there. She doesn't throw some other character under the bus and saying, well, she did this to me and she invited me, and she doesn't get all catty. And it's really impressive that she still has the, wow, you know, she's kind of terrible and it makes me sad, but it's not the, I'm going to tear other people down. Yeah. She doesn't go out and try to destroy her credibility. She doesn't do that. She's just like, okay, I'm going to be better and I'm going to prove them wrong.
Wouldn't that be nice if people did that more often? Yeah,
like that's a lot because women in general, it's much easier for us to say, and people in general, of the I'm going to tear someone down in order to make myself feel better, rather than I'm going to lift everyone up. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to prove, if I need to prove something, then prove something yourself. But you don't get to prove something about yourself by reducing someone else and just bringing that bar down, right? And so I think there's as much as it's very dated, only because very old stereotype college ground. Like it's like the LA thing where like it's a stereotypical sorority house.
Yeah.
So it is dated in that aspect. I've never been to a sorority, so who knows? They all seem to be portrayed that way. But it's a very, Valley Girl type vibe to it. But otherwise, I think there's some really good big lessons in there. So
that's good.
I'd show, if I had a teenage daughter, it'd be more like Elle. I'd be okay with that.
That's fair.
Anyway, so
that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had a good time with Katie Solo movie time. It was so low.
Okay, you having fun with that one?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We each have our moments.
We're something that we really connect with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's from my blues days. Yeah.
Gotcha. It's funny. I look around right now and we're just surrounded by dioramas. I have a pirate ship over here. I have a cabin over there. I got
I want to clean this place up, but I can't get.
We also still have Christmas boxes all over the place.
I gotta clean it up. I know I gotta clean it up, but like the desk I want to buy and the shelving I want to buy is not in stock. So
have you checked lately?
It wasn't last weekend.
Okay.
So that but yes. Yeah, I know. This room is getting smaller.
It is. Like I walked in and I'm like, I hit something as soon as I walked in the door and I'm like, here's the corridor in which I can move.
Now, to be fair, I need room in the garage
for that stuff. So I need to go to recycling is what you're saying? Like life things? Okay.
Adulting. Real world.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
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 You know what?
Yeah.
I would like to just remind you, you have the Jeep and you get home.
We're not
early.
doing this online.
Oh, we're doing this. We're just sending that out to the whole world. Just reminding you, you know? And we're striking that from the record. So, did we watch any more movies, Mike?
Yes, weeks ago.
Weeks and weeks ago. Guess what we're going to talk about? Drum roll, please. It was a Gene moment.
Yeah.
No, we did. Well, we did watch Bob's Burgers, but
Yeah.
we did watch an amazing Bob's Burgers episode finally that was from December, but Show Mama from the Grave was actually a really funny episode that wasn't take place in the restaurant at all. You also felt really bad for the children because Bob and Linda were mainly Bob was being a terrible parent. But there was like a lot of like adult commentary as well, and like dealing with your past and like parents and like it was intense.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it is.
If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's all on Disney Plus. And guess what? They dropped the new episodes, at least in Canada, at least a week after they arrive on air.
So cable is becoming more and more useless by the day.
Obsolete.
But yet I have to pay for it in order to get all my streaming services. What the hell kind of scam is that?
Yeah, to get the internet, you got to buy the cable to get the cheaper internet, to get the cable, to get the internet, to get the streaming services, to do the internet, to be a thing. Like it's somehow, basically just cable, just more expensive. And
it's just like, how can we make cable more expensive? We can pretend it's another service that you have to buy, but it's just $600 a month for everything that you want. You know? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Avatar.
Yes,
the way of water. Splish splash. We were taking a bath.
Huh.
All on a Saturday night. Rub-a-dub. There were blue people in my tub.
He hasn't even finished his drink yet, and he's singing Splish Splash. I haven't heard that song in a really long time.
Everything ain't all right.
Huh.
So we must, as always, because it is newer, we will give you a mini review, and then we will roll into...
spoilers!
Yeah, how we see fit.
Yeah, so quick mini review and go.
Oh, you pointed at me.
No.
Avatar 2.
Me, what?
Avatar 2. I quite enjoyed it. It didn't necessarily feel 3 hours long, which I was surprised because I've been watching 2-hour movies that feel 3 hours long. The film itself is a visual feast to watch. It does touch on more things about our history as human history, which I think is very interesting, that they're finding a way to package human history within this fantasy world to try to give you an environmentalist and like understanding take on things, but yet people are balking at that. So it shows that past is only going to repeat itself. Mm-hmm. But you know what? For the most part, I really got a kick out of this film. I enjoyed the visuals. And it got me excited to see a potential sequel. Not 5, but a potential third to finish up the trilogy.
Right? Yeah.
And go!
No, I will have to second most of what you said there for sure. I'm definitely happy we saw it in theater.
Yes, it is a theater view. Yeah,
because we originally were waiting for it to be on streaming, and I'm really happy that we decided to just go and try to find it. We watched it in 3D, and that was totally worth that experience. There were some really cool
scenes in 3D, yeah.
Yeah, because it was enjoyable, really making me very excited for that theater experience again, which is few and far between right now. So it's really great when you really feel like, yes, this was worth the money and the time and the effort and the experience of being around people.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. Again, it was a very long movie, and yet all three of us handled it no problem. It never felt like, oh God, when is it really going to be over? Some of it was a little bit longer, but it all made sense for it. And yeah, it still had, especially coming fresh off of watching the first Avatar, it has those emotional triggers that this one here, me and Kiddo were quite angry at quite a few things and very emotionally reactive to it. So it did a good job of really making you care. So I really did appreciate that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel flat. It didn't feel like, wow, he's just making this just because he could. And yeah, it's pretty, but there's no story to it. To me, it still felt like it still had weight. So I still really enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it, if you enjoyed Avatar, I would highly recommend it because it was different enough. It wasn't, we're not going back to the tree in the forest again. We're seeing a different world. We're seeing commentary, as you say, about human history, and the whole human experience itself. There is still a lot that we can garner and apply to our own lives, and, learning about the past, moving into the future. And there was still so many beautiful scenes and creatures and animals and cultures and traditions, and it was truly wonderful. So if you are leaving us because you haven't gone and checked out the movie, thank you for joining us.
Don't want to get into out of order spoilers.
You're right. When we just bounce all over the movie.
But I think that makes it fun, though, right? Because then it kind of creates a chaos. That's a natural progression of amazing.
Yeah. So again, if you're leaving us, thank you for joining us. And if you have seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, here we go.
Yeah. So Katie wanted to rewatch Titanic, and she got to rewatch Titanic. Because guess what? Great, James Cameron crammed in a good old-fashioned Titanic moment or two. Not the door scene, unfortunately. I was really hoping they'd have a door scene.
Yeah, we were watching the end of it, and we're like, wow, I feel like I'm watching Titanic right now.
Yeah.
And both of us, we got out, we're like, so, Titanic. Oh my God, yes. Totally had those vibes. Yeah. There's a giant boat. It's sinking. It's turning on the side. We're trapped. We can't get out.
It's breaking apart. But no door. That was disappointing. No, it was still really
a rock.
It was still really cool. There was like a lot of good visuals. With that though, I just thought it was kind of funny. The whole movie itself
makes me know he's good at that.
Is exploring whaling and also the continuation of the colonization of other territories.
Yes.
Right. And
well, the whaling and the hunting and the taking over of things.
Right, and the fact that they're using so minimalistic things from these creatures and just letting them rot.
I can feel my anger inside right now. Just creeping up right now. Just thinking about it makes me fucking angry.
Kitty smash. But so there's a lot of that stuff within it too, right? And every story has been told. It's just a matter of how you tell it, and that's what's happening. That's what he's attempting to do with these Avatar films, is basically tell human history in a form of colonization and destruction,
environmental destruction, and
through a sci-fi fantasy lens.
Well, because I love how they're like, okay, well, it didn't work for us to take this mineral out, and so now Earth is dying more, so now we need to actually take it over. But now, instead of the mineral, now we've just found a new natural resource to make us money. And tell me if that's not an actual commentary on human history. What's the next big shiny thing that we can sell that we have less resistance on? Because there's no one actually defending these whale type creatures, right? That was incredibly hard to watch that scene. You knew exactly what was going to happen, and it was devastating.
Yeah.
And it's Kiddo had a really hard time with it as well. He was very, very distraught by it. And it's just sad because as much as the intense whaling industry that had happened isn't happening as much anymore, it still is happening. It still is, in general, the big game hunting and all that sort of stuff, right? Like the concept of killing a lion just so you can put its head on the wall is just not acceptable in my thought. Yeah. There's zero reason for you to kill a lion. Yeah. You aren't going to eat it. That's not your natural prey of any animals, that you need to eat something like that. I just, and then the concept of them just being able to sell something like that, and then learning how important it is to these Navi's history. I mean, culture, their current culture. And yeah, that's a reflection for sure on our history, right? So
yeah. It's a very pretty film. It definitely does a good job of using, it's basically a giant animated movie.
Yeah.
Right. Versus what the other was, is a motion capture film, and it's done very well. You know, at any point, James Cameron does know his pacing still, as old as he has become, for moments where you have your dramatic scenes and then you have an action scene, and it is placed fairly well to continue that quick movement with a 3-hour runtime. So I was impressed to see that. Where it lands, I do hope though that they don't try for the 5 like they keep hinting at. I hope they just go for a trilogy.
I think it'd be too drawn out.
If this one took 14 or 15 years to come out, I like, is the next one going to take that long? You know,
well, yeah, because like, even if it took 2 years, it would be to say there's going to be 5. That's a really long time period still. I think they were lucky that they were able to draw such a big crowd back. But I think it was more of the mystique of something that has taken so long,
right? And so then that's the question: will the next one do as well? Because it might not have the mystique if it comes out in 2 or 3
years. Is it
going
to be a burnout for something?
Yeah.
Right?
So I think,
and especially if there was more of them, then it'd be like, okay, I'm done with the avatars.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I think they need to just get a 3rd one out and then just kind of end it. A nice little cap.
Kiddo was because we had previously discussed how much he hated. Is he a general or is he the main bad guy, of course, in the Avatar, right? And when it showed that he was back,
in an Avatar body,
was like, if he was, I could hear him swearing in his head. I think. Oh yeah. He was so angry, and just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? He's seriously back. And then when he didn't die at the end, it was just like the worst mistake ever. Like, you totally, I can understand the point of what they're trying to make, but at the same time, like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have zero actual connection. You obviously know that he is not your family and he's not a good guy. And yet, why is this whole blood is thicker than water thing happening?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really actually falls through with the whole with the movie. I think, but that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, not okay. I was very angry. Like, I was so afraid that the human guy was going to turn.
Yeah.
When he was helping them, but you could tell he was not doing it on purpose. But he didn't actually shift allegiances. But it was very close, and I was very upset that he was going to, and I'm so happy that he didn't. But he still kind of, majorly dropped down in my, like, I really like you, and then what the hell happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Spider unfortunately made an error of having compassion.
Yes. And it's like, it's not a bad thing to have, but it's like he didn't deserve compassion.
No.
Because he's just a ruthless, terrible killing machine that wants to hunt down people. Like, yeah. But it's him as a young person who has been taught right and to care about people. So his environment that he has grown up in is obviously an environment of hope. And he wants to hope that him showing a positive and a love, essential, a kind of form of love and compassion to him is going to change his mind. Mm-hmm. So he is, and I don't want him to have to learn the hard way. But I have a feeling that's what's going to have to happen. You know, he's going to have to learn that, shit, I should have killed him when I had the chance.
This is when in the third one, the guy kills Jake, and now Spider has to become the leader. Up. Yeah.
Don't put this shit out into the universe.
But yeah, no, you know what? Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things like that I enjoyed. You know, it is a little goofy with the whales. I'm not going to lie. That was something I thought was a little strange with the Na'vi, because like they could talk to them and the whales could talk to them.
I was going to say, I know that bothered you, that like, how can they suddenly talk to them?
That was a little weird. It was just like,
because it wasn't really explained.
Like use like sign language and like they could understand the whales as well. Like,
the one kid was basically, he kind of had that moment of like, if I talk louder or slower, the whale will understand me. And I'm like, maybe you should.
So there's a decent amount of like suspension of like,
or how they suddenly could like that Na'vi could breathe so well underwater, and like our the new family Jake's Jake's family could pick up on it relatively quickly.
Yeah, like so it's like they're
it's not like they had guilt,
and they look like because like the water navy, I can't remember exactly what they're called, but like they had like fins on their arms, like their tails were different.
It was cool how different
and they were evolved. Bigger, right? And like
they were stockier, they had more thin type look to them.
Yeah,
so you didn't realize how thin the I'm gonna say the blue navy. We're going to say
the jungle navy.
The jungle navy or forest navy. They call them forest ones.
Yeah.
How thin they actually really were.
Yeah.
Until
they were up against the water.
Yeah.
So like as much as there is moments of like, it almost feels like a bit of like Moana with like the moving of water as well. And like the disbelief of water and like, There's a lot that was taken from different eras of film and whatnot to create this. So like when you start really picking it apart, you can start seeing its cracks.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it's still a very enjoyable feast for your eyes, though.
Yeah.
Because it is.
I love the color palette. Like I love the turquoise. That made me really feel like a place I'd want to be. And I mean, most people would. It's not too far of a stretch to say I'd like to be on the water and the ocean like that. Yeah. And of course it's gorgeous water. But I think for me, it had a much more bright and shiny and like relaxing thing. So it's like when you did have those dark emotional moments, it almost felt more stark.
Yeah.
But it was no different. That whale was the same as when the tree was killed. And like, it's that some huge impact that makes a major change in the story. Right. But it was definitely a brighter, shinier place, and it was really fun to see. But I was worried too with Jake's wife again because I can't remember her name, because she was just so angry about being there.
She was terrifying,
and I don't blame her. Here she is. Like Jake's had to readapt his life already. Before, so him changing up and having to adapt isn't a new thing. The kids being young enough, they can do it. But she was very angry about it. And then when she was going into like badass mom mode and warrior mode, she was terrifying. Yeah. And I loved how they really played up the animalistic aspect of that warrior, where she was just full tilt adrenaline.
That was like the best moment of the film, I think.
Yeah, like that.
Action-wise.
And I was afraid that she was actually going to kill Spider. And I was so happy that it was a ruse. It was meant, or we assume it was. We honestly don't know. It very well could have been where she calmed down enough to make a clear choice on things. Yeah. But like, seriously, I had that question. I'm like, she's going to cut his fucking head off. Yeah. Like, I think she would do it. Yeah. And when she pushed him behind her, I was like, oh, okay. She's just crazy mama bear mode. Okay. We can understand that. We're good. But she was definitely, and you could see the symbolism of the fact that she was still riding her bird dragon thing. Yeah. When her family, they were all adapting on the water creatures, right? The dolphin-y thing. They had all moved on to them, and she was still on that, which turned out great. They needed air support, but it still kept her separate, and the symbolism. And at some point, is that going to come back then? Or is she going to make a change and try to adapt more?
No, because they need to like now become like a different type.
Now we're gonna go see a different type of like live in a volcano thing, earth, wind, mountain, water, and
the way of fire.
They live subterranean ones where they're not even outside or anything, and they live with like bioluminescences.
Oh, that could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, they like all the glowy things.
They like to be like mole people.
Yeah, right. They're all like pale and albino and
red-eyed navy. Yes. Like they're almost translucent, like little like big like gangly hot dog finger hands.
Actually, you know what? No, what would make sense, and then we'd still be able to talk about a human history aspect, though, is to being some sort of desert navy. Then you'd still be able to have that
oil.
An oil, right? Some sort of natural resource like that. Or the other thing would be more of a snow type thing, right? Like more of a cold weather stuff.
I guess you could also go more African style, like savannah, right?
Well, yeah. So some sort of desert-esque thing. Yeah. So so think
that would be
Middle East or Africa, or we go up more north. So either way, it's oil. So
yeah.
But then, move to a different environment like that, right?
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah. That's probably why he's thinking 5. He's just going to like...
hit all the continents and like...
Yeah.
I know there's more than 5 continents, but where people live, families, people... I'm just saying.
5 is a weird number though, too, right?
5?
Yeah.
It is super weird.
It's just like who
does 5?
Did they roll a dice? Was it literally like in the offices after Avatar was a success, and they were like, "How many sequels do you want to make? Let's roll a dice. It's gonna be 1 to 6."
Yeah, I don't know why 5. I mean, obviously,
because it's always been talked about of having 5.
Okay, so do we have 5 different types of people? Is that why? Does that make sense? Okay, we have water. We have the original with, then we could add, we have 2 more with that then. And then one that's like the over encompassing everything. I don't know. If for some reason it turns out the way, I'm going to be super impressed by the way. Desert
and then snow and then the final battle.
Yeah. Just saying. It's going to be all the Na'vi coming up together,
Come together. Right now.
Against the humans.
Yeah. But yeah, like I have like little nitpicks about the film, but like I don't have a lot of big picture nitpicks.
Yeah, no, overall, I mean, I know we were kind of nitpicking at some of the silliness that kind of felt like it, but you can tell it was like, well, can we find something really wrong with it? It was not like, oh God, this was a terrible scene, or what the hell were they thinking with that? There was no big
like there are questions that are going to be interesting to be going with, especially Sigourney Weaver's character. Having like an immaculate birth, teenage kid, like I'm curious where that's gonna go, because then she also has like superpowers.
I still think she's a clone. That's the only way.
Control things and like, but it has to have to do with being lost within the tree,
the soul tree. Well, because and that's the concept with her connection with it, and that's why I know you're talking about the immaculate, because she's got to be a child of say the Force.
Oa?
Yeah.
Is it Oa?
Oa? No. Oh.
Guess what time it is on Cup of Red? When we get a name wrong.
Iwa.
Iwawa.
I think it's Iwa. I think it's that.
Now we just sound like we're talking like Ewoks.
Of the Mother Nature and Sigourney Weaver's character there. So she obviously is a child of the force of that, right?
Of the Force, you say?
Of the Force. I'm gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah. I'm like
Iowa? How do you say that? It's EYWA. Yeah.
Iwawabaya.
Iowa. I'm gonna say Iowa.
Uchuto.
Oh yeah. Okay. When are we going to find out that it's actually like they are like parasites on a living being? Because it talks about the neural network and talking to them and everything. And again, we're going to strange world it and just like they're on part of.
They're on a giant turtle.
Yes, they are on a freaking giant turtle. That's what it's going. That's the 5th movie, is figuring out the whole thing works together. Is we're really inside either on something
or flying through
something.
space on a giant turtle.
On a giant space surfing turtle. That James Cameron, if that is not what you thought of, this is your new story, and go.
And only if he could somehow spin that Terminator shows up though, like as well. Because it just like some of the tech and stuff like that just reminded me of like Skynet stuff, and I'm just like waiting for it to be like this is actually connected to Terminator. That like a whole bunch of people like pieced out from Earth because Skynet took over, and like that's why.
I like it.
Right?
See, that's
Terminator versus Na'vi.
Wow. So his 5th movie is just going to be bringing all James Cameron movies back in together.
The alien will show up from Aliens.
So when we go into the ice type people in the ocean, are they gonna have a Titanic? Or are we gonna... We're gonna bring the ice and the ocean people together? No. Oh, good times. Good times. Yeah, I think
I'm losing.
We're losing it out. We're just thinking crazy shit now. So I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, okay, so it was fun. Like there was a lot of cool scenes. Like I think the one scene that was one of the cooler ones was when the whaling guys get their comeuppance when the whale like loses its shit and like
I love that he jumped up on the fucking boat. That made me so happy that he just like. So I love that they talked about the emotional response that they have.
Mm-hmm.
That he got angry. Mm-hmm. I love that he got angry, and he's. If you just translate into that human, the idea where he's just throwing shit around the room, and he's just gaining up all his adrenaline, he's pumping himself up, and he just launches himself up onto the boat. Holy shit, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then how smart he was to be wrapping all these cables around, and then when that guy's head comes flying off, that was so satisfying. Or his arm. Was it his arm? So satisfying.
Well, there might have been a head in there somewhere. Like,
but his arm. But it was just so... It's like, you fucking deserve that.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
It was like the start of like Moby Dick though too, right? Like instead of being a leg, it was an arm.
Yes. Oh,
right?
It made me so happy. So he totally deserved it. I'm so happy that the whale was able to take that back. Yeah.
Go whales.
Go whales.
We need a whale uprising.
We do. Whales are amazing. Like absolutely amazing creatures. Like I can't, it's like a weird alien thing. Like the concept of that large of a creature existing, I can't imagine the vastness of the ocean and the vastness of the size of these creatures, like a blue whale, that there is an animal on Earth that exists like that is just beyond my comprehension.
And it's calmer and more chill and...
Right? And it's just... It's a weird thing, man.
Less destructive than one human being.
Right? I mean, it takes up so much more room just to exist, and it has to consume so much. And yet the world sustains it if we just let it be. The natural order. Like, there is enough in the ocean for it. And the concept of how much humans consume because we consume more than we need to, how destructive we are. When, something that needs to eat so much is not the one killing the ocean. It's just hard to comprehend. I kind of feel like I'm stoned right now, the way I'm talking and the way I feel. I'm just like,
light him if you got him.
Wow. Yeah. And this is what Avatar has done. Made me like... you think about the world in a different lens and you think about all these different things.
But that's kind of a good film, though.
Yeah.
A film that touches your core being. If you just come out of that all pissed off that, like, what's going on? Like, they're killing it's about a whale and they're killing things, like, whatever. Yeah. But you coming out with a way to think about things, even if it turned out to be terrible.
Yeah.
But it allowed you to think more and to connect to something. That then I think speaks a sign of good entertainment.
Well, then it's a story that's actually relate to your own life, right? Yeah. Because it was still entertaining. It was still fictional. You could still just enjoy it for its own world, right?
So I think that's something that does speak to it, though. It's tapping into something for you that's allowing you to move in a new direction.
Well, and I think that is an important part of some of those really the filmmakers that have had long-standing careers. I know James Cameron's career has really been stretched out as of late, but he's doing a lot more different things. But being able to really tell a key story, a key archetype thing that can be relevant still, but also still enjoyable.
Yeah.
That definitely is a sign of a good storyteller. So not just a good filmmaker, but a good storyteller that sees an entertaining way. Because as you had said earlier, all stories have been told, and it's just a matter of how you package it now. Yeah. And find a different, unique way to do it. And I think this is a good version of it. Continuing on with it. Again, I don't know if we need 5 of them, but. I was impressed, and I'd be curious to hear what other people have to say. I know it's done very, very well.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy we went and saw it in theater. I'm glad we didn't wait. I think it was a really enjoyable to see
theatrical experience.
Yeah. How it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I wish we had been able to see an IMAX because that would have just been that next level up. But totally don't feel like I really truly missed out for how it would have been difficult to see. Still really, really cool.
Yeah. So Avatar: Way of Water, enjoyable theater viewing. with extra contents if you sit there and think for a moment.
So, we're done. We're done. I think we're done.
That's been January, baby.
Oh, goodness, it flew by. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad, dudes.